This is Death's Door, brand new action-adventure game from Acid Nerve, the creators of Titan Souls. It's a little bit different than Titan Souls, so if you didn't like that one, you know, don't worry, there's quite a bit going on here. It's more of a sort of Zelda, but a little bit Souls-like action-adventure, and it's got some RPG stats, and it's not one-hit KOs in this case. It does have a story with NPCs and dialogue and such, although it's not particularly story-heavy. But you play as a crow, who is a representative of death, and you are tasked with fulfilling contracts where you need to go into the living realm to reap a soul. And when you're in the living realm, time passes as normal for you, so you aren't immortal as such, the way you are in the death realm. And, well, anyway, I don't need to spell this all out so much because we're just going to see that story introduced in a moment anyway. Game just is out today, $16.99 on sale, down from $19.99 for the launch. Available right now on Steam. Game Command is available if you type in !game. Thank you to Devolver Digital, of course, for sending me a code for this. Definitely was going to play it regardless, and I did play about an hour of it already, so the first bit of this isn't going to be brand new to me, but I'm sure we'll get past that in pretty quick time. I just wanted to have an experience of it to know what it was so I could introduce it properly. It's a really pretty game, great soundtrack, super highly produced and polished. Basically have nothing bad to say about it based on what I've played so far. The options menu is sufficiently robust. I wouldn't say it's like insanely big in terms of its options, but it's got all the basics that I asked for. I'm actually going to turn the screen shake down a couple notches. I don't think we need it all the way up. And we can do controller bindings. I'm going to be playing on my usual 360 wired controller. And we'll start our new game file there. Here we go. Death's Door. Let's begin. Now arriving at the Reaping Commission headquarters. End of the line. That character on the poster on the wall there just looks like something out of Guilty Gear, doesn't it? It's like Lockhead. So we can use our sword. We can roll with A and slash with X. There's a standard 3-hit combo to start off. And I also have a bow, which I can aim and... what's fire again? X? B, right. The bow has 4 shots, and in order to replenish your shots, you actually need to hit little mushrooms, which I don't think are available here. There's other ways to get your shots back, I believe, as well. Seems like the phone isn't connected to anything. Should I move my camera at all? It's not really blocking any UI elements, like just the bottom of the 4 icons at the top, but I don't think it's really obstructing anything. I could slide it down just a tiny bit. I don't know, this is probably okay. It's like a little hidden friend here, hiding in the darkness. Uh-oh. Sorry, my alarm went off. Ain't got no souls, ain't got no shinies. That has to be a reference to our friends who like shiny and silky and smooth. Ain't got no worries. Is that a crestfallen knight reference? These little islands off in the distance. I believe we will actually be able to reach over there at some point. We do get some minor upgrades throughout in terms of traversal. So this is such a good look. Monochrome plus bright neon is one of my favorite color schemes. Gray plus that sort of like coral pink red is just delicious. I love to look at it. Yeah, you're clear. Move it along, bud. He doesn't really care that I have a sword. The Hall of Doors. So as we progress through the overworld of the game, like when we're in the proper adventure part of the game, doors will appear that link back to this area, and they will slowly just sort of like take up space along all of these empty-looking areas. And each one of the doors corresponds in sort of a linear function with what's going on here. So there's like different diverted paths going in various directions, and once we sort of branch off into some of the different areas we go to in the overworld, they link up with branches that happen in this area as well. And I'm kind of explaining that badly. This is Chandler the Handler. Well, well, well. Look who showed up for work. No worms for you. I'm not an early bird, you see. Because the early bird catches... never mind. Anyway, it's your lucky day. I actually have a soul for you to reap. And not just any soul. A giant soul! Think of the commission on that. I hope you haven't forgotten your training. Stay on your talons. Giant souls don't go often go peacefully. Dropping in your door for you now. I wonder where I was before I got here that I came off the bus. With a soul that size, you might even be able to afford some time off. But remember, your door will remain open until you return with your designated soul. While your door is open, you will be mortal, and you will age, so get it done quickly. Reaping souls to power the doors, just so we can reap more souls. The cycle repeats forever. The rat race, eh? Anyway, get to it and be careful. If you die, it's going to be a lot of paperwork, and I don't have the time. Thanks so much, Stuart, for the 26 months! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you! Oh. Oh boy, I love typing. Can't get enough of it. It's just because I love Hades so much, but the people sort of toiling in a death world administrative position, I mean, it just makes me link the two, and you definitely want to be associated with Hades. That's a good thing. Sleeping on the job, eh? Yeah, you're not ready to talk. He'll talk to me later. That's who you talk to level up. So yeah, this area will correspond with something that happens in the game, and then the door will, I think, appear right here. You ever played Death and Taxes? I don't think I have, actually. I'm not even sure I've heard of that. What about you? Better get moving. Don't want to be late, right? Giving me the Gordon Freeman treatment. So you can take the elevator up, or you can take the stairs. Options are yours. I choose stairs today. I choose death. And let's traverse the bull door. Hi, JR. The Grove of Spirits. Got little seed bud friends. Nice mushrooms. They just want to hide. They don't like death. I find it kind of funny that being this bird representative of death, it's like, it's surprisingly cute. I don't really get any bad vibes from this crow. He's just kind of chill. But I guess it's kind of nice, too. Like, you don't want to be super creepy all the time. Unless you're Reaper. Which makes sense that he wants to be creepy. So these are the little red button mushrooms that you get your arrows back from. You do have to aim. Maintaining your ammo is a little important sometimes. I mean, I'll just use all my arrows sometimes, but other times I want to keep them. So you'll see we just unlocked a shortcut. So that way, if we come back through this door, we go through here now instead of going through the little tutorial area. So there is some of that shortcut-inspired level design that we love. And it's not just in the tutorial, don't worry. They use this all the time. And we're going to fight our first boss. You'll be happy to know, when I played this on my own time, I didn't die all the way until that full amount of playtime was elapsed, like an hour plus. I was very proud of myself for that. So it makes that, like, whoosh rush sound when you get hit. Yeah, soundtrack's so good. You can see the enemy is taking damage and then is getting like little pink swirls on them, like showing they've taken damage. There is no obvious life bar. You just kind of have to go by that. But it's pretty readable, to be honest. I should be able to hit the leg now. And then you can hit the other leg. The arrows are equivalent to, like, roughly one hit of the sword. Isn't it elegant? It's just such a nice presentation. It reminds me a little of Miyazaki. I mean, there's certainly, like, a Baba Yaga type character that we see later that, I think also elicits that response, too. So that's, like, maximum damage state right there. If this character has additional attacks, that's usually when that kind of thing comes out. Yeah, I mean, going back to the old retro games, like, playing games on the SNES and the like, this was very common. You know, life bars weren't always shown, but often you would see the character would change colors to denote their damage. Do you have a sense of the scope of the game? Based on my first save file, I played for a little over an hour. It said I was about 10% done with it, so it might be around 10 hours long, but I could be off with that. So you'll see that, well, you might have seen at the bottom right, I had 100 souls. Souls are your leveling up component, of course. Probably don't need to introduce that ever again. And now we've been transported to the Lost Cemetery, the Forbidden Region. Has a very nice, like, tilt-shift effect, where the stuff outside of the main character's proximity is tastefully blurred. Gives a nice sense of scale to the environment. Kind of reminds me a bit of what Tunic is going for as well, in that the sense of scope of adventure. Although this might feel a little bit more Soulsy and a little less Zelda. So this is the life seed mechanic, which are sort of your analog to bonfires. Planting one of these in a green pot will yield soul fruit, which can be consumed to restore your health. So the premise to this is you get these seeds throughout an area, and you plant them in the pots that you choose, and then you can replenish your health once with each one of those soul plants. Where if you die, they will then come back again. But you only can replenish your health once per seed, per run. So if I die, you'll get another shot the next time through. So there's our first overworld enemy. Nothing particularly daunting, just kind of a mob, a general trash mob. So there's a key we need to find, and there it is. But how do we get to it? That's the question. Well, first let's get this soul orb. I think I need about 600 for the first level, either 4 or 600. I'll check when I get to the next door back. Which is already. So you'll find a few doors as you go through each overworld area, which, as I said, link up to this area. And then they correspond with the parts of the overworld that we're in. Little Crow, do I sense a glut of soul energy? Come here and you can trade those souls to gain an edge in combat. I actually don't know if I have enough. I don't think I do. Welcome to the Soul Vault. Would you like to increase your combat abilities? It's 400 for the first level. So there's Strength, Dexterity, Haste, and Magic. Strength hits harder. Dexterity is faster hits. And faster chains of hits. Haste is faster movement speed, faster dodges, and less cooldown between dodges. And magic is additional magic spell and ranged abilities, so your bow gets stronger. I think the bow is actually going to be like your underdog weapon. I've found it to be very useful. When I first did my other run, I was thinking the trick here is going to be to level up into faster rolls. I don't know what this door is. It must open later as like a link back or something? I don't think I walked in here before, actually. Or if I... Maybe this was sealed before in the review version. I don't know what that is. I don't know if there would be any difference, though. I'm not sure if they would have sealed anything. No fall damage, as far as I know. Also, I only have 4 units of health, so I've got to be pretty precious with not getting hit. Yeah, there's also a charge-up attack. I hadn't been using that. It's hold right trigger and then release. Can be useful to get a jump on enemies when they haven't hit you yet, or haven't shown interest in hitting you yet. Those 2 locks on the gate indicate we need to kill 2 enemies. Oh, that was bad. Those are the 2 enemies. So that guy does a walk forward and then a dash grab. And there's our first pot that we can replenish our health with. Really don't need to do it yet, but I will plant the seed at the moment. I like to just bait their grab out. Well, they're not grabbing together at the same moment. Works for me. The enemies don't drop very many souls for the most part, so a lot of the souls you end up getting are either from bosses or from those orbs that you get by finding them in secret spots. So that drops a ladder. I really like that highlight on the ladder of the neon pink to show it, you know, make sure you notice that it happened. And now we've just shortcutted back around, and I have the key, and I can drop the key in over here. I know if I get hurt, I can come back to this plant. Definitely want to go into bosses with full health. And this is a small wave arena. This feels very Studio Ghibli as well. The guy that's a mask that rolls at you. So occasionally you get sealed in, you have to fight a bunch of enemies. This happens pretty frequently, actually. But there's also a good amount of enemies that are just sort of in the overworld, and you can see them beforehand. The reason that there are different ones like that is because sometimes... Well, this is sort of like forward progression mechanics that you have to deal with these combat arenas. But then when you have to do runbacks to fight a boss multiple times, you can kind of avoid everything else. So you only do the arena stuff once, and then it's just over. But yeah, the run back will happen every time you need to go through the area. So then hit a second time now. Whoa. They can hit into each other as well, and you can also get them to environmental kill if you're particularly savvy. I've gotten them to drop off ledges a few times, which is pretty satisfying. This eventually turns into a ladder, as you can see. If you're wondering what that little pedestal is, I believe it's just sort of like a receiving area for the ladder. I've got an NPC over here. Not actually sure where they come back to. We just talk to them and they walk away, and I don't think I saw them again after this. Ah, Reaper. This is Stonehead the Gravedigger. My time in this world is over. So I guess I will slay you then. But wait. No. Still here and still very much alive. Perhaps try a bit of a run-up? Roll, and then right trigger while rolling, and you get a slash downward. I'm sorry, it's not your fault. It happens to everyone. I'm afraid I'm burdened with unending life. I can't explain it, and I've spent untold years seeking an answer. My name is Stedhone, not Stonehead. I'm the keeper of graves on this sacred mountain. Oh, and if you do find yourself strengthened somehow, feel free to try and kill me again. Isn't that nice? So this is sort of like a living Devil May Cry door character, apparently. Here lies a guardian of the door, a preserver of order, and home to stray souls. What about stray demons? I was very pleased to find that the second area looks very dissimilar to this area. It's very visually distinct. I don't know if I found this area either. I think I was just not looking for doors, apparently. Oh! Well, that's an area in the second area, so we can overlook it from here. That's cute. I didn't know they did that. Another bit of Dark Soulsian reference there. I mean, not super deep of a reference, but the fact that you can overlook one area to the other is sort of a hallmark of the things we like about that. I mean, I think they wear it on their sleeve pretty well. I'm not going to argue with it. So this is where the old crow was standing before. As we were walking down there, he was walking across this bridge. So I know we're on the right track. Ah, lever. Hit the lever. And that's a big old shortcut. Ah. Whoa. I don't even know what this is. Oh, a shard from the Vitality Crystal. Collecting 4 will raise your vitality beyond its limits. That's great news. So it's an HP up. Well, it's a quarter heart container, I guess. I think when I was playing this before, I was overcome by the gorgeousness, and I was just not trying to explore it all. Because I didn't want to really spoil very much for myself, I just kind of wanted to have a very brief look. But yeah, that's like not a very super hidden thing to find. We need another power-up to get into that, which I believe we get in the second area. So there is a bit of, like, you know, being able to backtrack and getting new power-ups out of it. I don't know quite to what degree that continues throughout the scope of the game, but I know at least in the first couple areas that does factor in a bit. The controls feel very crisp as well, if you were wondering. They feel very responsive, and I've had no issues at all with them. When I get hit, it generally feels like my fault. The hitboxes make sense. Sometimes you overcommit with a little too long of a combo, and you get punished for it. Like that. And this is where I'd want to seek out a plant. In fact, let's see if I can figure out how to backtrack properly using that shortcut we were given. Because I did plant the first seed in the first pot. Should be able to come up here, go back up the ladder or the elevator, and then take the first ladder down. And then it should be right... Actually, what? Where is this? Oh, there's the door. Yeah, there it is. Is there a parry or block as well? No, just rolls. At least so far. I don't think there's any parries available. What's this little gate here, I wonder? Maybe just an enemy came out of it? So yeah, anyway, if you understood what I was saying before, that plant will now not grow back until we die. But when we come back to this area again later, or if I die, then it should be back. So you only get one use of it each run. It's like a single-use bonfire. But you get to choose where it goes. The upside to the way that this works is you end up with a decent amount of seeds for the most part, and you can kind of choose if you're struggling in an area to use more pots or less, and then if you conserve your seeds, you may be able to use them more generously in an area later that you're struggling in. So give yourself more chances to replenish your health between boss fights. Or yeah, place Estus Flask, also another way of looking at it. So now we've got these new wizards to contend with. I like to do the roll in and slam down on them. I think they take 5 hits each, at least till I upgrade my sword. I like that the starting sword, the first weapon you get, there are other weapons as well. It feels like good enough, like it feels sort of vaguely strong. Okay, I'm just slashing and not really thinking at all about what I'm doing. Oh, you can use a plant, by the way, in the midst of combat. There's nothing locking me into this arena at the moment. So just to be safe, I'd be a bit embarrassed if I died here. Although it wouldn't be a huge time loss. I mean, we did open up shortcuts in that. Oh, they do that thing where they can, like, phase off the edge of platforms where you can't actually get to them. Oh, that probably should have hit me. Ah, they body blocked me. Also, I can be using arrows to shoot these guys. I'm just not for some reason. Ideally just to conserve arrows, I guess. You can see the pink damage cracks. It's not only for bosses, but for regular enemies as well. That's just your visual indication of damage done. You see, put quite a bit of blood on the ground here as well. So there's another shortcut lever, and that opens our path forward, as well as back. But we've also got a path this way, and there's also a soul shard over here. Which I don't believe I can fall down from this point. So I'm not sure how you get to that. It looks like there's a ladder that would drop from here, but it doesn't seem to be. But that's the joy of exploration, isn't it? What's the point of this area? Doesn't look like there's anything here at all. Just a fire? Oh, wait a minute. No. There's nothing to light. Thought I was being clever, and the fact that there's a bonfire here, usually that means you can light something if you shoot an arrow through it. Maybe I'll just fire it this way and see if there's anything. That would be a weird puzzle if there was like a hidden thing to light you couldn't see. This must loop back around in a way that I'm not sure about yet. Does it look like a rope or something there? Where'd you see that? curious. I missed it if there was a rope. Do you mean over here, or...? Not sure ropes are actually a thing in this, but I'm curious in case I just don't know. Oh, it's the lever. Okay. Gotcha. Alright, let's move on. Very likely we just hit a lever somewhere else. Well, look at this. Guardian of the door. Aren't you imposing? So this enemy certainly favors... By the way, I'm coming in with 2 hits. That's not great. Certainly favors distance attacks when possible. So I'm going to try and stay over here as much as I can. But I do know the attack pattern, at least from having fought this once. And that wasn't great. I believe we're going to get a laser now. Yeah. And then it's going to go boom, 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 boom. For a surprisingly long time. And I can't actually hit it at this point because it's ejecting me with air. Now there's going to be missiles. Oh, that was my last hit. I freaking died. Oh, I made it so much further than my first time.